Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you all for coming, my friends. We have quite an interesting thing to discuss tonight. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Israel. Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I want to make sure that you hear every word. You probably saw the thumbnail there. Looks a little spooky. Already see a lot of people in the chat saying, hope you're not quitting, hope you're not quitting. How could I ever quit? How could I ever quit? But there's something going on with YouTube, and, well, I got to the bottom of it. Got in touch with supervisors, and it took me a while to get there. I was in a lot of prayer. I was a little shooken up about everything that has transpired over the last week. But what I found... You want to talk about God opening your eyes and saying it's over for you? Very, very clear. At the same time, there are a lot of fires going on in Long Island right now. I don't know if you know about it. Not too far away from me. Actually, my son is working probably at 5 minutes. 5 minutes away. He's over there in Shirley. 5-10 minutes away from that area. You probably can see the smoke right now, but a lot of these fires have been contained. But of course, these fires are tied into something that's going on spiritually in my life. Whoa. We got a very explosive, a very revelatory show. I'm going to take you into my life. I'm going to share some things I don't really share. So the fact that the fires are burning, and of course, the Dan was upset because everybody in the neighborhood's freaking because we're not that far. I used to work in West Hampton. When I did Thunderbox, we had offices there. Now, this has happened in that area of Long Island. It's not the first time that it's happened, and it probably won't be the last. But had a lot of people stressed out because, of course, everything that just happened with the Palisades and Malibu and happened in the Carolinas. Fires everywhere. The world seems to be on fire. Fires really, literally are burning pretty much everywhere right now. Is it climate change or is it something else? I don't know. But as of today, it looks like they got it about 22% contained. Well, that's interesting. 22%. I'm glad that you're all here and that you made it and that you were notified. You know what's ironic? There are more of you here than normal in the beginning because there's been something that's been going on with YouTube. You probably noticed where once my shows were like 40, 50,000 views. You know, you get like 30,000 views average. This is going on with a lot of channels all of a sudden recently. And I'm not negating the fact that we're still talking about like probably 10,000 people that can watch a video, even if a video is low. I mean, that's amazing. If I had a church with 10,000 people, oh man, I wouldn't be scraping for cash and collecting the bottles and bringing it in. I wouldn't be worried so much. Sometimes we forget the impact that we have on other people, and we let that bank account dictate whether or not we're going to continue to do it. So what do? I get to work. You know, Jacob, he likes to wrestle. He doesn't like to lose a fight. I'm not giving up, Lord. I'm not giving up. I got the whole system against me, I think to myself. I'm going to keep pushing through, and I've been pushing through. Had that accident. This is a crap year, 2024. Lost my dog. Dazers died after getting into this accident. Nonstop, torturous tinnitus, where I'm told, it can't be proven. Forget the fact that this, I lost high-frequency hearing, and now for the rest of my life, I will be marked with this noise. I look at it many nights like, what did I do wrong? My life hasn't been that easy. Started off not that great. What did I do wrong? I'm trying so hard, Lord. Nothing but tough times since I was a kid. Father took off, 19-year-old mother, picked on, bullied. Teenager becomes really, really sick. All of these things that happened, and every single time I'm like, I'm not giving up, Lord. I'm not stopping the fight. I was almost going to stop the fight. Just yesterday. I'm about to cry even thinking about this. Thank you, Vincent, for the super chat. By the way, I don't put stuff behind a paywall. The only thing that I do now is the Patreon with the Zoom at the end of the month. We're going to do that. We're going to meet together. Sometimes I air them here. If you want to be a partner, you want to support the work I'm doing, this has meant something to you, why don't you do it? If you want. There's free membership too. But if you want to get on Zoom, it would be nice to talk to you all. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate every single like, every single share. I'm on freaking fumes, but I'm on fumes, baby. And it's over. It's over. I thought what was over was this channel for me. But I think what's over is something else. And it took me being told again and again by many of you, thank you, Roy. Semper Fidelis, brother. Love you too, man. Many of you told me, it's like, Jacob, all of a sudden, we can't find your channel on the old YouTube. Thank you, Rose Peck. Look at everybody feel sorry for. Don't feel sorry for old Jacob. Remind Jacob that sometimes he's a meatball and he's not, trusting in God enough. Thank you, Kara. I appreciate it. Yeah, it is. It isn't an easy task, especially when you seem to have the world kind of against you. 2016, 2017. The new algo hit. That's when my channel was going like this. You could see the subs were going like this, was progressively going up, and I was building. And then they hit the whole Jones category. Remember Jones? I did the show about Jones saying he was going to be cut from all the platforms. Put it out 3 days before he was literally cut from all the platforms. Ironic, right? Well, they did something at that point. And so the subs went from here to just, and so little by little we get there, right? Word of mouth. People like you saying, hey, you know what? This guy, he's a kook, but he's got some good things to say. He loves people. He's encouraging people. He doesn't tell people, this is the way that you need to do it. I just encourage you to go to God. I had to teach me the truth no matter what the cost. We come up with some slogans on this channel as well. So I've had a hard time of things, but I always was doing well because I had another job. I had another job where I was selling the mattresses, and I loved it. I loved selling mattresses for 10 years, almost 10 years. I was top salesman, loved helping people, and I gave the biggest discounts. And I'm still the number one most reviewed person at this company on Google right now. I probably have more reviews than anybody else, 5-star. You should check out the novel too, by the way. You want to talk about reviews. So, but when the virus of the crown hit and then, the lockdowns hit, and then it was more like you need to get that certain thing, it got very, very uncomfortable at work. And a lot of people were, treating me very, very poorly because I was so successful. And you're going to find something, my friends, that if you have a purpose that God's given you and you're good at it, there are going to be people that are going to have a problem with you. Or if you're an empathetic person and you're kind-hearted, people that are not kind-hearted are going to have a problem with you. People always have a problem with me. They do. No matter where I've been, no matter what I've done, I'm always the butt of the joke. And I don't mind being the butt of the joke, Rebecca. Thank you for never giving up, because I won't give up either. Being the butt of the joke is, status quo for the children of God, for all of us. David, he was the smallest. His father didn't even consider him when Samuel was coming around to crown him as king. Didn't even consider him. But for me, I always think that moment's going to come where I'm going to have that inheritance, right? This is going to be it. And I've been saying 2025 for so long. And my channel's been going like this. I don't even know why. People are saying they forget about me. People are saying they can't find me. All of a sudden, I start listening. I'm like, well, what if they can't find me? What if I'm like, because I know on Google, if I go to Google and I type in Jacob Israel, it's going to be hard to find me. You're going to find a biblical patriarch. That wasn't always the case. Up until 2016, I loved telling people, oh, just Google Jacob Israel. You'll see. I felt special. I was like, I'm the number one Jacob Israel on Google search until that happened, that first hit. Where I got, I don't know, me, Leak Project, a lot of other people probably. We were put on a list or something because, my thumbnails are a little goofy. They're a little out there. And maybe people judge. I try to say, don't judge the fisherman by the bait. I try to just say, just come on in, because you know what it is? you know this channel is all about loving others. Love God, love others. That's it. Who does that exclude? Nobody. Who does it exclude? Nobody. Love, encouragement. There are channels that are very, very hateful. There are channels that are going to instill tons of fear into your hearts. And what do? I'm always like, don't be scared, right? Tried to be the voice of cool, even though I was so scared all the time. I try to still be the voice with the big smile on. When I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Oh, you want to get a treadmill? I'll find one on what do they call the neighborhood thing? Dan finds a treadmill, a couple $100 because we're good. She's good with that stuff, right? Or we can be able to afford it. Yeah, God will work things out. But this is where I've been. I've been worried because I was looking at these things and I didn't understand. I felt like it was very unfair. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so you know. But this is going to get really freaky in a little while. When I get into what YouTube, the conversations that I have with YouTube, a support specialist, and then someone higher up, you want to talk about like, you got the goods, screenshots, right? That somehow disappeared. Very strange. All right, let me show you this, okay? So we're going to go over here. We're just going to type in Google, okay? And we're going to type in Jacob Israel. Very simple. Hopefully I'm transferred over and you can see me okay. And now there was a time, I want to let you know that you couldn't, you can't find me, right? Now you can go like this, Jacob Israel YouTube, make it a little easier on YouTube search. You would think that's me. That's not me. You would think that's me. It's not me. I've done this before. That's not me. I don't have 10 plus followers. I have 205,000. So you wonder why people aren't being notified in the video. That's not me. Bums you out. Because you're like, well, hang on a second. Why is that happening? You know, that doesn't seem very fair. But at least on YouTube, when you went to YouTube, you went to the search and you were like, say that you're not subscribed to my channel. Okay. Which is, I know a lot of people that watch aren't. I wish you would. A lot of people make excuses like, oh, I don't have this or I don't have that. I'm like, okay, well, Matthew, I believe Matthew's probably subscribed because he's given the nice super chat. Thank you very much. Decreasing while he's increasing. I must make myself smaller so Christ is enlarged. That's what John said. Right? Less of me, more of God. It's the truth. But I was told that if you go to YouTube, I typed in Jacob Israel to find you. I couldn't find your channel. So now I let that go for a while. I just figured, oh, well, maybe I still have some videos that are doing very well, like 25,000, here and there, right? Still doing well. 17,000, 19,000. These are still, they're not numbers from like a year ago. They're definitely not numbers from like 4 years ago. Maybe it's like one of these things. It just does that. Or then again, maybe it was like the gray hair, right? You start to think these things. Maybe I'm just not as good anymore. Do you see what I've been doing? I've been racking my brain thinking I'm going to fight my way out of this. That's so Jacob for you. Oh, he's going to wrestle, right? Going to wrestle. I'm not going to let go till you bless me. Where's my bestseller? I said it was going to happen. It's 2025. What's going on? Hope I'm not blowing your ears out. Thank you for the super chat, MM. That's right. You don't feel sorry for me. You know, because I am blessed through all the trials. That's the truth. When people say, God bless you, you want to get back somebody who's mean to you, say, God bless you. You know why? Blessed are the persecuted. Blessed are the downtrodden. Blessed are the, right? Those are the blessed. Blessed are the poor. You know why? Because we're dependent on God. And what matters more than knowing the truth of God? Loving God, loving others. What is more important than that? A viral video? I haven't had a viral video in a long time. Not because I stink. It's not the case. Not because my stuff is just, it should be. In many cases, sometimes these things, they're like, oh, if only the Lord. You get upset. You see these people like, what's his name? Brandon Biggs, the prophet, right? He calls himself a prophet. Red flag number 1. And this guy, he just said that everybody was going to blow up at the Super Bowl, right? Remember I came on and everybody was so stressed out about President Trump. And I said, what is going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. It's all going to go smooth. That's what we're going to pray for. It's going to happen. Enough with the fear, right? But the world seemed to like that a little bit more than, we'll say, a softer voice. Why on earth, VS, thank you for the super chat, says maybe you're being pushed to a new path. So a lot of people have been saying to me is maybe you're being pushed to like Rumble or anything else. And this is not going to be just a bitch session. All right. Yeah, that's right. I said bitch. It's like a female dog. It's not going to be like a dog barking, like Daisy was barking until she passed away after this terrible accident that happened, that took my hearing, and not my hearing, I still hear just high frequency, and now I have this nonstop noise where it's hard for me to even focus when I'm talking to you, right? The dog dies, I have a pool. I always wanted to have a pool, but I was so upset. Oh, poor me. Pool liner, I can't afford a pool liner. Poor me. I have a pool. Because this was a house that we were told was too expensive for us, that we couldn't get it. It was on the market for a long time, was boarded up for a long time, went into foreclosure. I told the guy, we're going to buy it for the same price of our small house, and it's going to happen. I have a pool. My whole life growing up, I had nothing. I had no backyard, a cement backyard, right? Grew up very, very poor. I admired my cousin who had this like above ground, small little pool that God has blessed me so much. Finally get the YouTube channel and I'm complaining. I get upset. I tell my wife all the time, I'm working so hard. I never get a break. I'm always working. And I'm working not because, sometimes, it's very enjoyable. Most of the time it's very, very enjoyable. Every show that I've done is very enjoyable, but I feel a pressure to do it. If that makes any sense. I feel a pressure to do it because I feel like today's a day where a lot of this information needs to get out. And I think a lot of people are very stressed out and a lot of people are scared with the transition. I said the world was going to look very different when Trump came in. I had a vibe. I didn't know. I didn't say it was a prophet and this was going to happen. Story of Nebuchadnezzar. I've been saying it for years. Been trying to get everybody ready, saying it's a good thing, right? So then why the heck am I being told it's supposed to be a good thing, Lord? Why am I being told that if you go to YouTube and you type in Jacob Israel, you don't find my channel anymore? I did a show with Gregory Hallett. Just did it. It was, he says he's the king. He's the king of England, which is okay if he wants to be. Some people say that this guy believes that he's Christ or whatever. I had him on a show. He doesn't want to let me touch the stone of destiny that he found. It's okay. But it was interesting having him on, because faith is an important thing. And this guy seems to really believe it. But I just did the show with him. And, I was a little upset because I'm like, Lord, as I'm listening to the show and I'm trying to get ready to come together with everybody so we can watch this premiere that I'm very excited because I said years ago when he was hot, right? When he was like, everybody's like, he is the hidden true king until I guess his mother and his sisters came out. And whatever they believe doesn't negate whatever he believes. I don't know. I'm not vouching for the guy. I'm not thinking the guy's Christ or he has anything special. Nothing more special that I have, nothing more special that you have. We all have our stories. But I was excited for the premiere and I was going to watch it on the couch and I was ready to respond to everybody. It was a live premiere. I haven't done a live premiere in a while. And what happens? I go to YouTube, like I always do, type in, Jacob Israel, and I can't find my channel. But I find like a video from like 2 months ago. And I'm scrolling. I tried from a different phone. I'm frantic because my show is about to start soon and I want to be there because if I'm doing a live premiere, a premiere is basically something that's produced ahead of time and then people get to interact. Like right now you're doing the old live chat, right? Hey, Angie, a lot of people saying hi. This is a good thing. Everybody's like, go to Rumble. I'm on Rumble. By the way, I'm on Rumble. I have been doing that. I did it kind of on the down low. I wanted to see if organically it would grow without telling everybody, go over to Rumble. Will you go to Rumble? You should do it, though. You should definitely subscribe to me over there, Jacob Israel. Who knows? Maybe things will be great there, too. I don't know. I'm not thinking that this is the end for YouTube. I'm thinking it's over for YouTube. Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate that. 1111. Okay, so here's the thing. I do the show. I freak out. I can't get in touch. And then I get in touch and I realize, oh my God, they have hidden my channel from view. Now, we don't know why this happened, but it happened during the show. And if you were in the live premiere and you can leave me a comment. I was there, Jacob. You were getting a little upset. I was upset. I was like literally like I could have been swearing. I was swearing in my head and I was typing, oh darn, or fiddlesticks, right? I was so angry. I was like, what is the point of this? There were like 156 people watching at one point. I'm like, what is going on? There used to be 3,000 watching. Have I really fallen off the mark? But I realized that, it's not about me and what I can do. I can't do nothing against the system. I can't do nothing against the system. I can't do nothing. I can't add a hair to my damn head. But yet I act like I can. And I get upset when, no matter what I'm doing, maybe I'll bring on a guest. Maybe because I feel like I'm supposed to reach more people. I'm supposed to be a better example for all of you than most people that are out there. But in my head, I'm not being the best example because I'm stressed out that everything seems to be against me. In my distress, I called to the Lord. That's what I felt like. I felt a little bit like Jonah. I did what you told me to do. Everybody said that the world was going to end. I said it wasn't going to end, Lord. I told them to get their house in order. The world didn't end. Everybody's here. And my YouTube channel's sinking. That's all right. Because you know what I'm doing? I'm going to get another job. No big deal. I'm going to get another job. And I'm going to get another job. And I may have another job, by the way. This is another thing to tell you. It's very exciting. I just haven't really gotten like an official offer, but something, because I said, Lord, I love this so much and I love them so much. I want to be able to do both. I think it's going to be something that I can do while I'm doing this. I also got in touch with the old mattress store again. My buddy Jimmy C. I was a top salesman, right? I left on good terms, even though they were being mean to me. Didn't want to get the old wackadoo. And I'm glad that I did, because for 3 years, this channel has really thrived because of all of you. Because of you that support the channel, because of you that said, I'm going to be a member of Patreon, or you know what, I'm going to get the Teach Me the Truth shirt. I'm just going to do something because Jacob's been like a blessing to me. I got so upset with this censorship and everything else because it was very clear to me that it was censorship. And when I didn't know how to get in touch with support because I'm so just not that tech savvy. Right. So many people tell me that you're leaving money on the table. I just was on the Top Lobster show. He's such a funny guy. And he's like, you're leaving money on the table. He's like, why aren't you doing podcasts? Because I don't know how to do it. He sends it over to me. I try to sign it up. I don't know what I'm doing. I mess it up, download the wrong thing, forget the password or something. Right. How do I think that I'm supposed to beat this system when I can't even do simple things? I know I can't. I got to leave it in God's hands. But I was upset. So in the live chat, I was freaking out. And then I got in touch with them. Now, this is funny because I even deleted the post because I really was so angry. Hang on a second. Let me show you this. All right, here we go. All right, so look at this. Here I'm upset. And I mean, give me a break, right? This was given to me to encourage me. Right? And I said, that's incredible, a great reminder. I mean, the wonderful things that these people say and feel, I mean, look at the screen name. Look at Witness 1111. Jacob, you've touched so many lives and saved some too. I always give credit to God. I don't think I've done anything special because I love doing this. I know because I'm one of them. Your message carried me through the most excruciating loss I could never imagine. You've strengthened my faith and brought me close to the Lord. Thank you. I read that as, stop crying, you big baby. I got your tattoo. That's the way I read it. And I was really, because I was down. I said, wow, God is so good to us. Look at us all. Beauty from ashes. Thank you for the encouragement and reminder as always. David Gross says, wow, you are and all that. David sent me, and I've kept his letter here. Let me pull this over. He sent me, and I love how he wrote, he's like, dear Mr. Question Mark, because you know Israel's not my last name. I'm not going to tell you my last name. Jacob's my first name, all right? Israel, in story too, we don't really know what Jacob's last name was anyway. Israel was the last name he identified with. It would really be like a last first name. It wasn't really like, the last names that we know today. It just means the last idea of you. It's kind of like the first Adam brings kind of death into the world. The last Adam brings life into the world. The first idea you is like a miserable guy who thinks that you're never going to go anywhere, and then realizes that, once that is cast off, that, Christ in you, that everything is yours, that you're a co-heir. These are things that I forget. So I want to tell you some things that really, before I really tell you what happened, because I get in touch with YouTube and I say to them, look, this is happening now. It happened on Google for a long time. And now, by the way, I'm at the bottom of Google's first page. You used to go scrub through like 5 pages to find me. Now I'm at the bottom of Google. It's like an improvement, which is interesting. So I couldn't find myself. I got upset. I did cry a little bit. I'll be honest. I'm a big baby. Because I really don't want to fail. I don't like to fail. And I know that God gave me this, right? I mean, this isn't mine. This was given to me. How was it given? Well, all the things that had to happen. Had to force me to go stand out here to do what I'm doing right now for all of you and for me. God did all this. But yet I feel like I got to somehow do, because sometimes there's times to move. When the bird's nest gets uncomfortable, it's time to move. The eagle builds the nest with like stones and stuff so that it gets uncomfortable when the chicks start to get too big. So they have to take flight. I'm more than just a YouTube channel. YouTube's over. You see what I'm saying? I'm more than just a YouTube. You're more than just your job or whatever you depend on. In God's eyes, so much more. Now, here's what's even weirder. So I'm going to come on here. Thank you, Jim, for the super chat. I plan on coming on here, and I plan on doing this whole pity party thing where I'm going to show you, and I'm going to bring up all these others, because I was so upset, because I started looking. I'm like, Paul Begley's, his channel's right there. Marf's channel's right there. The Donuts channel's right there, and he's demonetized. These are people that I like. And then you got like people that I don't even like, and like bad people that don't like the Jews. Their channel comes right up. And I'm going, how am I so, what is it about me that's so offensive? And I got to constantly remind myself that if there's oppression in my life, and there's been a lot, I've lost a lot, I've gone through a lot. We all have, not to feel sorry for me. Because every time, look at me, I'm better. When I was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, and it was like, oh, you're going to be on disability and you're going to be hunched over. What did I do? I ate better and I exercised. Here I am. How many years later, like 10 years later, I could do handstand push-ups at 50. I'm going to be 54. Come on. Every time God pushes me to another and a better place. So I was down. I was going to do this show where I was like, hey, I'll show you. And so I tell the Dan. So this morning over cough, I'm having some cough with her, and I'm like, let me just pull up YouTube. Here we go. I'm like, let me show you, Dan. I tell her, I'm going to type in Jacob Israel. So like, this is what I mean by this. Like we'll say Marfugel, right? We love Marf. So you just type in Marfugel. Let's see if we can find his channel. There's his channel right there. Pops right up. Now, why this is important is because if you aren't subscribed and you're just looking, hey, I haven't watched the Marf show in so long, which, by the way, if you should subscribe to him. He's a great guy. Him and Dex are awesome. And they've been good to me. And Marf started as like a viewer, him and his sister. And now I'm a viewer of theirs. You're like, hey, what's Marf up to? Let's take it up. I type in Marfugel, and then boom, here he comes. Now, if you did that with me yesterday or a couple of months before it, and I was unaware, you wouldn't find me. But this morning, as I'm going through this, because I had this big to-do with YouTube, and they said they couldn't help me, this morning, all right, you have to scroll down a little, but you get my point. I'm at least there. And the video that's there is the video that's going on right now and a current video. This is a dramatic change. The oppression is over. The oppression that I've been feeling is over. And immediately, because now someone could say Jacob Israel and take a look, and then boom, right? I challenge God to prove himself. Don't do that. You may not like how God proves himself. So they said they could do nothing. It's been going on for a long time. I wasn't even aware of it. I didn't even know how to get in touch with YouTube. I had to watch a YouTube video to find out how to get in touch with YouTube support. Why would they do that? Why, every time that I did a live show, would I have to come back and delete commercial breaks? Like, why would they put 30 commercial breaks in an hour-long show? Why would they do that? I mean, is it like a subconscious thing? If you get people, is it? When I went on Carmen Stutter Smith's show, and another great channel, you should check her out. I was recording my appearance on her show. It was like ridiculous the amount of commercials that were on her show. Ridiculous. And she's a monetized channel. That it was like I was getting sick to my stomach. I wanted to stop watching. I was getting so mad. People don't realize there are these subtle things that can be done to drive an audience away. Put in a million, I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose. And I'm not saying that maybe there's something else and that maybe, I don't know how it really works. But for a while now, I've been deleting these because it seems like a subtle form of censorship. It seems like it, to me at least. If you can't find me, right? I'm the biggest Jacob Israel. If you can't, on YouTube, I am. If you can't find me, there's something wrong. There's something that's not normal. And I was like, at that point yesterday, I said to Danielle, well, it's a good thing that in April I find out about this other thing, which I can't wait to tell you all about, because it'll be like supplemental. You know what I mean? It'll make up for whatever else, because I don't want to put stuff behind a paywall. I don't want to just do Patreon only content. I don't want to like pressure you or promise you something to support the channel. If what I'm doing is not enough, liking, sharing, and commenting, these things are free. That's enough. That's more than enough. If more people shared. Could you imagine if 1,000 people watch the show, if everybody, it was like, there are other channels that are really good at monetizing. I've never been at that. It took me years to do the merch, and I wanted the merch to be something that meant something. Like when you wear this shirt, it says, "Teach me the truth." People read, "Teach me the truth." Then when you pass them, no matter what the cost, they read that. That puts a seed inside of them. What is the truth? Where do I find the truth? I want things to have meaning. I didn't want it to make it about making, because I didn't need it for so long until all the algos did whatever they did. Because, the videos were doing so well, and the advertisers, let the advertisers pay, I left Christian TV. I didn't want to be one of those people that do like a share-a-thon. All right, let's get together. Thank you for your support. The only reason we're here, if you cast your seed today, I'll send you like a blanket that's been blessed by the, you know what I mean? Or I'll send you a little thing of oil, a little holy oil that I prayed over. I mean, it's like ridiculous. If you want to support the work, you support the work. God's been good. He's kept me enough. Dan took a course last summer. She's making more money. So it kind of like, it's always God, it always evens out, But when I saw that you couldn't find my channel, I was like, there is no hope for growth. The whole system is against me. It's over for YouTube. It's over for me. I'm ready to take any job. Here's the problem. You're a YouTuber for 3 years, and then they look you up and they see your thumbnails. It can work against you. That's why this other job, pray God if it comes to pass. I think it is going to come to pass because it actually makes a lot of sense, and I can't wait to announce it because it's going to be a big thing, like a really big thing. So I show her, and it pops up. And it was like all the pressure was released. Now, here's where it gets really, really weird, okay? So there's a fire going. And at the same time, there was a fire in my heart. And here's my channel. Okay, so you'll see me. I actually put that post out. Help me get this censorship news to Team YouTube. I was so upset. And I was showing everybody how Mark Dice pops right up, but you couldn't find me. Okay, now I've been on YouTube a long time. Okay, we're talking since 2008. Okay, do you know what today is? From that point, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's amazing that all of a sudden now you can find me on the first page of Google. You couldn't do that. You'd have to go. I'm telling you, you couldn't do that. You still may have to scroll down another one from my website, but maybe things are taking a little time to adjust. But you couldn't find me on YouTube. And then today you could. Today, 888 weeks after I started my channel. 888 weeks. That to me is pretty insane because, 888 is symbolic of new beginnings. It's a big thing. 6,216 days. Now here's pretty wild because, I like to dig. I'm going to start to seem a little bit like the king over here because you know what? Why not look at things as important? You know that numbers I find fascinating on this channel. I found it very interesting that from the start date to this date, it's 888 weeks, 6,216 days, which works out to the oppressor. The oppressor. I've been oppressed. Everywhere I work, people make fun of me. I succeed. I rise above. They get jealous. They try to tear me down. Everywhere this has happened. Lost my job at Daystar Television Network. Why? Now look at them, right? Now I'm trying to help them. Every time that I've been brought down to the depths of hell, I cried out to God to save me, and he saved me. Why this time was I so brokenhearted? Why this time was I like, how come this year past 2024 has been so hard? I've had a lot in my life that I've dealt with. This tinnitus, this nonstop noise, it's not like normal ringing here and there. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. And a reminder that my child and my wife could have died that day, and it could have been a heck of a lot worse. Got to trust God. Where I had that accident, heritage, which means a land that's been stolen is given back to the heir. Struck at 111 of all times. That's when the police report. Agent Smith done all these shows about it. The 1776 place, the spy ring, Culper spy ring, Washington, the big thing. All of this stuff happens. Come home, see the vulture at the end of my driveway. If you haven't seen my show about the accident, you should. All of these signs that are there to remind me God's in control and he's doing something new. And I'm crying the blues because you can't find me on YouTube. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm just going to work extra hard. I'm just going to do another show. I'll do another show, another show. It doesn't matter, Lord. Whatever job you want me to have, I'm going to take it, Lord. Right? I'm ready. I'm not that concerned, Lord, but I'm brokenhearted because I love this so much. If I'm being hidden, it's just going to get worse. And then today, after 6,216 days, I joined March 3rd, 3/3/2008. Today's the 9th of 2025. Now let me read this to you in Jeremiah. For thus says the Lord, go down to the house of the king of Judah. Speak there this word and say, hear the word of the Lord, O king of Judah, that sits upon the throne of David, you and your servants and your people that enter into these gates. Thus says the Lord, execute your judgment and righteousness, and delivered the spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor. Deliver us out of the hand of the oppressor, and do no wrong, do no violence to the stranger, the fatherless, the widow, the drug addict, the divorced, the unemployed, the sad, the hurting, the alcoholics, the drug addicts. Neither shed innocent blood in this place. For if you don't release them from the hand of the oppressor, ain't gonna be good. This morning, I felt released. Let me show you what 888 weeks, because it's 888 weeks. How wild is that? 888 weeks. Wild. And I start my channel then. Let me show you what 888, the significance of this. It's connected to Jesus. It's the Savior, salvation. The Septuagint, and the oldest translation of the Hebrew Bible. The ancient Greek everyday language, Koine Greek. The translation originated around 250 BC and was made by the Hebrews. Basically goes into how Jesus got his name. Now you'll notice it over here. There's no J in that language in Greek, but it would be pronounced like Jesus, right? A lot of people say, oh, no, his name is Yahshua. That's the Hebrew name, but in Greek, it would be Jesus. So don't feel bad about saying it, you know? It has the value of 888, which means God is salvation, not your salvation. I'm not the salvation. A new job isn't the salvation. Getting shouted out or invited on Rogan is not salvation. God is salvation. God works things out. It's pretty interesting, but it gets even more interesting. And why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? 888 in Hebrew, let's take a look at this. Has to do with being displeased. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Everyone here right now, a prayer to heal the tinnitus. Yeah. Hey, it is a constant reminder that God smacked me upside the head and told me to get I haven't, not that I was a huge drinker, but I used to drink at least a couple of bottles. You know me with the Pinot Noir. I used to drink a couple of bottles a week. Thank you, Team Alaska. We've always loved and listened and increased my knowledge. You've made me realize the kingdom is within us. And God made me realize it, and God made... You can't, be told something just by somebody. I didn't make you realize it, because I can say this to other people that are waiting for Jesus to come in the sky, right? In the clouds with, a literal kingdom coming down. I can tell them that. God has to reveal it. That's what Jesus said all the time. He says, who am I? You want to know who I am? Who do you think I am? And then they're like, you're Jesus, the Son of the living God. And he's like, well, I can't tell you that. Right? Could you imagine? It's like King John. The King John III that was on my show. If you haven't seen that show, you should check it out. Watch it on my channel. He put it up on his channel. He didn't even link me, which is kind of lame. I think it's a little lame. Not like a little thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm going to air your whole show. And that's okay. I'm glad that he's airing it. I wish you would put a little link there. It would be nice. But people can find me now. Yesterday, they couldn't. You see the difference? Now they can watch it and say, who's this Jacob Israel guy? And go to YouTube and go Jacob Israel. Yesterday, if they did that, they'd see a video from months ago. Beesh. Sounds a lot like bitch, huh? Beesh. Was I beeshin'? Was I beeshin' to you? I was a little bit. Means displeased. And it also means worthless. Two things that I was feeling yesterday. Aloha, Helene. Freedom, Joseph, Jeanette, thank you very much. Well, here's the thing. I've been displeased and I felt worthless. In fact, let me tell you my mindset. You want to speak? The devil whispers in your ear, Melissa. Love is the only way forward, she says, and she's right. Thank you for the super chat. I was feeling worthless and I was so displeased. And do you know how my mind works? You want to know how the devil creeps up? As I'm putting this show together, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this show. Maybe the Lord is displeased with me. Maybe the Lord is saying I'm worthless. This is the thought that came to my mind, because a slave never knows when he's really free. Does that sink in? A beaten dog doesn't know he's not going to get beaten anymore. I see displeased. I see worthless. I'm like, 888, this is going to be a great thing. Oh, I'm so excited, Lord. And I look at it, displeased. What did I do? Worthless. No. It's how I've been feeling. I've been so displeased and I felt so worthless. Forget about the fact that I just showed you someone who has a tattoo, I am a witness, on their arm, 1111. Forget the fact that I get emails. By the way, if you ever want to snail mail me, do. It's in the links in the description. I don't usually tell people because I don't want anybody, because people have sent me checks and my last name's not Israel. I can't deposit, Israel. So people have done, so I don't really say it as often. But if you want to write me a letter, just don't put anything in it that's like looks like baby powder or anything. It'll freak me out and I'll get scared and then I'll never open the mail again. But yeah, the P.O. box and everything else, you want to snail mail me a note or something, please do. It's always there. You just click in the description. If you want to get some of the merch, you want to get, all the links to everything is right there. PayPal, if you have PayPal, if you want to support the channel, Patreon, very easy. You just got to click it once, click it twice, and it opens up and it's there. But send me a handwritten. This was nice. I read it in the car and it was nice. And it's a different thing when somebody sits down and writes something by hand. Just feels like there was more effort into it. And so it meant even more to me. So anyway, I'm not saying everybody's got to write me a letter. You can always email me. I get tons and tons of emails from me. Thank you, blindness to sight. That's sort of like me, right, Carrie? Right? It's Satan keeping you from doing God's will. Sometimes it's Satan that's saying you're not doing God's will. You're not thinking clearly, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make things even worse for you so that you have to depend on God. Believe it or not, well, you're right. It is true. She is right. But sometimes even, the things that correct us are there to mend us and heal us and to get us over the threshold. Like I said, I expect to fail in life. Isn't that sad? Because you always think that I'm so, but because it's happened so much, but I always expect God to deliver something new. But it's like I always feel like the whole world's against me, and it's always been that way. Always been that way for me. And maybe that's because, I started off with, I didn't have a father. I was abandoned. Maybe it's because my mom was like 19 when she had me, and we, wasn't a great area. And maybe it was because of that. Maybe it was because of, the people that were around me in the neighborhood that was around me at the time. Maybe it was like being abused or whatever. It could be all these reasons. Maybe it was because I got sick and I was so sick for so long. Maybe it was when, the only party that I ever got invited to in high school, my first senior year, Daniel, my goodness gracious. Thank you so much. That was a big super chat, Daniel. God bless you, man. Maybe it was that big first party, where I went and there was a big football player who was older and I was like sick just out of the hospital, but so excited to go to a cool party at the beginning of senior year, and I got beat up in front of the whole high school class. Maybe it was like these things that happened to me, that I expect things to go the wrong way. Expected censorship. I expect YouTube to shrivel up, just like the gourd above Jonah's head. I expect these things. And I'm supposed to expect good things. Maybe it's not my fault. Maybe when I was looking at Bish and I was Bishin. How odd, right? You want to hear funny? Let me show you the very first video I ever posted on YouTube. Do you know that the channel YouTube started? I was a writer. I had my website, jacobisrael.com, which you can see right there in the corner. Boom, 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 right down there. Go there, subscribe there, get the email subscription. It's free. Nothing's behind a paywall. It's all free. You want to talk about like some in-depth essays and some awesome poetry, thousands of pages. You can you'll eat till your heart's full. Believe me. It was a season where all I did was write these essays, but I never expected to be Mr. YouTuber. Donna, who is the grandmother of my children, Noah and Shiloh, from my first marriage, she was always like, YouTube's where it's out for you. I was like, no. But I use YouTube to promote the book. The very first thing that I did. Now I'm going to play you this video. You want to talk about like a telltale sign of my mindset? I didn't know what my calling was. I lost my family, right? All these things. This is just interesting. All right, so I'm just going to play this for you. This is the very first video I ever shared on YouTube. And it's a really crappy trailer to my book. Look at how far I've come. This, by the way, let me see if I can see a picture of my son. This was Noah. Talk about the fires, but I mean, that's part of the story. But I mean, if only he knew what to do. How crazy is that? I mean, you want to talk about that character in that book is me, by the way. All right. Not like me literally, but like it's based on my life, where I grew up. The scene where Thomas gets beat up was the scene I was just telling you about at that high school party where the guy was bashing my head into the wall, trying to hit my head on a hook. Do you know how I got back at that guy? I sent him a poem. I did. I met him years later at a bar. I was much bigger and things were very different back then. And I did nothing. I forgave him. It was a great chapter in my book. All these things work together for our good. They're all lessons because in the grand scheme of things, I count it as dung. It doesn't mean anything to me. All we've been through, all we've gone through has brought us to where we're meant to be. Why is it I get all of these quinky-dinky do's? I'm the guy, Elon's going to be with Trump. Tulsi's going to be with Trump. I say all of these things. He's going to lose the election, but don't worry. He's going to be cut off from everything, but don't worry. He's going to be back like a king. The world's going to change. All of these things the Lord gives to me because I seek, I ask. And I'm all upset that a little, you people can't find me on YouTube. I don't even care. I'll still do YouTube and I'll work at the Piggly Wiggly. There's not a Piggly Wiggly, by the way, but there's a Wegmans all of a sudden. I feel like I'm in a new simulation. I don't even know what Wegmans is. Never heard of it. All of a sudden, Dan went to the Wegmans. Yeah, I'll work anywhere. I don't care. My mother was a janitor. She cleaned toilets. I did all sorts of stuff. I kind of want to go back to selling mattresses again because I really enjoyed it. I used to do those videos in the back. I could do both. This job that's coming up, I believe, will allow me to not even have to worry about selling mattresses. I can still devote a lot of time here. But we'll see. I started the channel in 2008. Aired my first video. Okay. Let me show you this. Exactly. It gets so much cooler. 6,141 days. And now I look at that word and I'm thinking, oh, great, perverted. Oh, great, now I'm perverted too. By the way, I don't look at the naughty stuff anymore. I did. I now fantasize about my wife all the time. And I'm lucky. She's really hot. She's really hot. By the way, try to do that with your own relationship, Try to do that with your own relationship. Distorted, fake. In Samuel, it is you show yourself pure and with the perverted. But you see, when I read it the first time, I'm like, what did I do now? I'm like, what am I doing? It's a kind of a message for us all. This, I hope it is, at least for you. But take a look at it. 201 months, 21 days, 21. I find it interesting. If only Thomas knew what he was born to do. A Voice in the Dead Woods. A great novel, which now has an updated cover. Because this is where 2025 is going to be. The oppressor has taken enough from us. This is the year we cross over. The oppressor can't do it anymore. Oppressor can't do it no more. Let me show you this, because this is from Luke chapter 17. I'm going to read this to you. Okay? Sin, faith, and duty. Jesus said to his disciples, things that cause people to stumble are bound to come. Okay? We're going to make mistakes. But woe to anyone through whom they come. It would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a millstone tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. I mean, here's the thing. When you look at this and when you think of this, and you know what? I could probably read this at the same time as I'm talking to you. You're going to stumble. There's going to be problems. You're not going to always be perfect. But woe to those that try to get you to stumble. Woe to those that impede your growth. Woe to those that oppress you and that keep you from your God-given potential. Woe to those. Be nice to people. All right, so let me show you this. Okay? If your brother or sister sins against you, this is an important lesson because we should always forgive. Rebuke them. If they repent, forgive them. Okay? So you can correct people. And if they say, oh, I'm sorry, forgive them. I forgive people regardless of, I hope they repent. Even if they sin against you 7 times in a day, 7 times, come back and saying, I repent, you forgive them. Right, Marie? Thank you very much for the super chat. He replied, after the apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith, he replied, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it will obey you. Now, here's where the word comes in. Suppose one of you has a servant plowing and looking after his sheep. After the sheep. We're the servant, by the way. Will the master say to the servant when he comes in from the field, come along now, sit down and eat? Won't you rather hear him say, prepare my supper, get ready, wait on me while I eat and I drink. After that, you can eat and drink. Will he thank the servant because of what he did? Because he did what he was told to do. In other words, he tells the servant, this is what you got to do. When you do it, is he going to thank you? Is he going to give you food ahead of time? Is he going to let you rest your feet? So you also, when you've done everything you were told to do, should say, we are unworthy servants. We have only done our duty. We're unworthy. We're unworthy. You see? Do you see what I'm talking about here? A servant who's doing his job just wants to hear at the end, you're doing a good job. He wants the subs to come in. You want to see more subs, right? You want to see more views. You want to get the thank you. Jesus is telling the story of somebody who feels a little bit worthless. That's the way I feel. This is the way I felt. You feel worthless when you can't make things happen on your own. God does this to frustrate us. He does this to frustrate us, to remind us that God is the one that gives and God's the one that takes. So here's the other one. This is very interesting to me because this is what I wanted to read to you because this just means so much. Because right now, we've talked a lot about Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel, the prophet Daniel. Well, this is a passage when Daniel was in the lion's den. Okay, so the lion's den, that's the word that we're looking at the bottom, 888. Now, when Daniel learned the decree had been published, now what the decree was King Darius. He was the king after Belshazzar. Remember, I said Biden was like Belshazzar? King Darius, then comes Cyrus. All of these, Hunter Biden was like, it's very interesting. Here we have King Darius, who had made a decree. He was a good king, believe it or not. Daniel liked him a lot. He liked Daniel. But there were a bunch of jerks around the king that were very jealous of Daniel, didn't like Daniel, didn't like the fact that Nebuchadnezzar hooked him up because, he was good with the dreams. So they tricked King Darius into writing a law that would be like, if you don't, if you pray to any other gods but me, you're in trouble. They tricked him. And guess what Daniel did when he heard this? He went and he prayed to his God. He's like, okay. 3 times, actually. Now, when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day, he got down on his knees and he prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had done before. Then these men trying to cause Daniel to stumble. Interesting how that's tied to the other verse. Woe to those who do that. These men, you know what they did? These jerks. They went as a group and they found Daniel praying and asking God for help. Help me! What do? I'm going to take away this. We don't like this. We don't like this guy. I asked them to help me. I was like, can't you see? They even admitted it. We see what you're talking about. We see it. We agree, but it's not done on purpose, Wayne. Thank you very much, brother. So glad that you caught the live. Thanks for the super chat. Huh? This is the thing. They couldn't help me. Woe to those. They didn't even try to help me, it seemed. They gave me a bunch of cached phrases. YouTube cares about its creators and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you're saying that you see it, but you're saying there's no way to manually change it. Please help me, I said. Please. Like Daniel's praying, please, God, help me. It's getting freaky out here, Lord. They don't want me praying to you anymore, Lord. They don't want me on YouTube, Lord. Please help me. And they saw him doing this, and they went to the king, and they're like, this guy, Daniel, he's breaking the rules. We told you to do these rules, right? No one's supposed to do it. He did it. King was not happy about that, but, the law is the law. So they found him praying and asking God for help, so they went to the king, and they spoke to him about his royal decree. Did you not publish a decree that during the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human being except to you, your majesty? Imagine the nerve of this guy, huh? He's like Saul. Remember King Saul? Imagine the nerve. Yeah, you can't pray to anybody but me. King Jong-un. King answered and said, after they said to him, Your Majesty, you said that if anybody did this, that they'd be thrown into the lion's den, right? So they were tricking. They were setting him up because they knew that he liked Daniel. The king answered, right, the decree stands in accordance with the law of the Medes and the Persians, which cannot be repealed. Then they said to the king, Daniel, who is one of the exiles, I feel like an exile here on Long Island, by the way. This is not my home originally, just so you know. All right? I migrated here. Lord moved me here. Daniel's one of the exiles from Judah. Pays no attention to you. He doesn't pray to you, your majesty, or to the decree that you put in writing. He still prays 3 times a day. When the king heard this, he was greatly distressed. That's that word. Very distressed. And what ends up happening? Then the men went as a group to the king, and they said to him, Remember, your majesty, according to the law of Medes and Persians, no decree or edict that the king can issue. So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. Anybody feel like they've been in the lion's den for the last, I don't know how long? The king said to Daniel, May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you. And I believe Mosey Squiggles, thank you for the super chat. I believe he meant it. I believe the king meant it. I believe the king wanted to see God rescue him. I thought there was no way out. I said, this is it. I was like, no big deal. I started this channel to begin with how long ago? My first video. And then today, all of a sudden, I'm back, baby. And I said, oh God, maybe it's over. Maybe the oppression's over. Maybe this video will crack 25,000. Maybe I'll have 1,000 likes. Let's take a look. I didn't even ask. See, I forgot. Because it's one of these things. Maybe this video will have over 1,000 likes again, or 2,000 likes. And well, it already does. It has 1,100. I haven't had that in a year. Got the 11 right there. I'm looking right at it. That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Maybe the oppression's over. Maybe now is our chance. Maybe now things really do change. It's going to be nice if I get that other job. It's going to be nice. I hope that you all pray for me, because then the pressure will be off. You know, I don't need all the worry. I don't need to feel worthless. I don't need to be displeased. I need to trust God. I need to trust God. And let's go back to Luke 17. Let's go back here. Once being asked by the Pharisees. Now remember, the Pharisees were very much like King Darius's cronies, okay? They were always looking to get him into trouble. Always looking to tear him down. Being asked the Pharisees when the kingdom of God would come, Jesus replied, the coming of the kingdom of God is not something that can be observed, nor will people say, here it is, or there it is, because the kingdom of God is in your midst. That means within you, by the way. The midst means literally within you. Then he said to his disciples, the time is coming when you will long to see one of the days of the Son of Man, but you will not see it. Okay? Is today not the day when people are like, oh, you're going to see Jesus return. You're going to see Jesus return. You're going to see Jesus return. And then you'll be free. Then you'll be free. And he's saying very clearly, you will not see it. People will tell you that he's over there, or he's here, or he's the guy who's got the stone in England. Don't go running after them. For now, listen to this. For the Son of Man in his day will be like lightning, which flashes the lights of the sky from one end to the other. But first, what has to happen? He must suffer and be rejected by this generation, just like the days of Noah. So it will also be in these days. People were eating, drinking, marrying, given in marriage up to the day Noah entered the ark. Then the flood came, destroyed them all. The same as the day of Lot. People were eating and drinking, buying and selling, planting and building. But the day Lot left Sodom, fire and sulfur, both things that purify, by the way. Sulfur is a soap, fire purifies, rained down from heaven and destroyed them all. It'll be just like this when the Son of Man is revealed. 888. On that day, no one who is on the housetop should go back for the possessions inside. Likewise, no one in the field should look back or go back to anything. Maybe that mattress job's not where I need to go. I don't know. We're going to see. Remember Lot's wife. Whoever tries to keep their life, whoever tries to keep their YouTube channel going, will lose it. Will lose it. It's over. And whoever loses their life, whoever gives up control, will preserve it. I tell you, on that night, 2 people will be in one bed, one will be taken and one will be left. 2 will be grinding grain together. One will be taken, one will be left. Where? They asked, Lord. Where the dead body is, there the vultures will gather. I'm a dead man walking. I had a vulture at the end of the street. I feel worthless at times and lost. Don't you? The day of the Son of Man is not one literal place. It's like lightning. Your story. It's my story. The hope of glory is Christ in you. People will say you're going to be able to see it, but you won't. They'll say he's over there or he's over there. Don't go to him. First, there's going to be a lot of suffering until that truth is revealed. And then when that truth is revealed, There's two. There's the me that felt worthless and lost and abused and a slave who doesn't know when he's free. I'm a free man. You're free. I thought I was a slave once, but now I'm a slave to Christ, whose burden is light. It's a new day. There's a new man. Two were sitting behind this microphone. One was taken, one was left. That word taken in Greek, paralambano, means to join yourself to something, to accept something that is transmitted. Like I accepted this message that I found in my mess. The one that's left, that word left means to divorce, to cast off, in reference to like, got to get rid of Ishmael. Got to get rid of it. That negative, dirty down, bitchin' attitude, bish, got to go. That's what it means. Two in one bed, one is taken, one is left. One, the truth of God, the Christ in me is taken. The worthless, useless jerk who can't do nothing for himself, cast off. So, it's over. It's over. I feel like it's over. And it may take a little while for this to sink in, but we got 1,088 people watching. And now we got over 1,300 people liking. I mean, this is an improvement. The oppression, the oppressor. This is the day when maybe we're set free. It's a good day. Daylight saving time. And now the times aren't going to change back anymore. That just hit me. That just hit me. All right, listen. I love each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for, I've never gotten this many super chats in this year. Thank you. It means so much to me. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you want to get in touch with Truly Free, want to get some good stuff, go there. Links in the description. 30% off. Use code Jacob. Anything you do to support the channel, it means a lot to me. But don't worry about old Jacob, right? I mean, you can if you want to, and if you're okay with it. But don't worry about it because God's got me. It's over. Depression's over. All right. I love each and every one of you. And I hope you enjoyed this. Will you please? I still am writing. Someone's asking me why not keep writing. I still am writing. I actually started book 2. And this is another thing. I got a couple of fires. They say like a couple of staves in the fires. I got a couple of things that could come. And one of them is the audiobook for The Calling, which, by the way, the best novel you will read this year. I'm not joking. You read it. If you like this channel, this will be the best book. Even if you've never read a book before. You know how many people have never read a book cover to cover? I don't like to read. But I wrote something that I like to read while I was reviewing it. And if you like the channel and you like the things I talk about, this is the reason this channel is here. My first video. If only Thomas knew what he was born to do. The Calling. 2025 for us, my friends. We've crossed over. It's over. I love each and every one of you. Thank you again, Wayne. Wayne, what are you doing? We made of money? Another super chat. All right, listen, I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. If I could stop the show.